You didn't tell me you'd be working as one of Santa's elves this year?
I'm not.
Oh.
I was talking to Greg, and he said that he gets $5 a week.
Sounds like Greg's doing better than me. Ask him for an allowance. You want to buy a leather coat? You need to get a leather coat job.
Sure. Where's she live?
I don't know.
So how long have you been working with the computer, Tyler?
About 5 weeks.
Gretzky? It's not Gretzky, it's Gretzky.
They say that time is the ultimate thief, a silent force that blurs our memories and turns the vibrant colors of our past into the sepia tones of history. But for those of us who grew up watching television in the mid-2000s, some faces remain remarkably frozen in our memories, and you undoubtedly remember him as the skinny kid with the wide eyes. The one who navigated the chaotic and often unforgiving streets of 1980s Brooklyn with a mixture of terror, heart, and wit. To us, back then, he was simply Chris, the boy who was always at the wrong place at the wrong time, the relatable underdog in the classic sitcom Everybody Hates Chris. Yet, behind that comedic timing and the canned laughter of a live studio audience, a real boy was growing up in the harshest, most unforgiving spotlight imaginable, the Hollywood child star system. Today, Tyler James Williams is no longer that boy. He is a man who has looked his own mortality in the face, a man who has battled a silent, agonizing enemy within his own body, and an actor who did something 95% of child stars fail to do. He survived the transition into adulthood with his dignity, his sanity, and his soul entirely intact. Tonight, we aren't just looking at a Hollywood resume or a list of awards, but rather a masterclass in resilience as we explore the story of how Tyler James Williams protected his inner self in a world built on illusions and manufactured dreams. This journey began back in October of 1992 in Westchester County, New York, a place far removed from the glitz of Los Angeles. He was born into a household defined by deep discipline and immense talent. His father was a police sergeant, a man of order and duty, and his mother was a professional singer, a woman of soul and expression. This unique combination provided a foundation of structure and emotional intelligence that most child actors never receive. By the age of 4, an age when most children were still learning to tie their shoes or playing with building blocks in a sandbox, Tyler was already professional, memorizing complex scripts, standing under hot studio lights, and delivering lines for major networks. By age 6, he was walking the most famous street in the world, Sesame Street. For any child, this should have been a land of pure magic and wonder, a place where puppets were real and lessons were easy. But for Tyler, it was the location where the veil was first lifted. He once recalled a pivotal moment when he was on set and saw the iconic Big Bird costume open up, only for a full-grown man to step out. To a typical 6-year-old, that might have been a heartbreak, a shattering of a childhood dream, but to Tyler, it was a profound revelation. He realized at that tender age that Hollywood is a house of mirrors where nothing is as it seems, leading him to understand that his job was to maintain the illusion for the audience while staying firmly grounded in his own reality. Even though he was a consummate professional by day, he was still a boy at heart, one who, along with his young castmates, would secretly terrorize the million-dollar sets at Paramount Studios. They would shake up soda cans and launch them like grenades into pristine areas, running away before the production assistants could find the sticky mess, a rare, precious glimpse of a normal, mischievous childhood in a very abnormal world. Then came the audition process for the role that would change the trajectory of his life forever. Everybody Hates Chris. He didn't just walk into the role of the teenage Chris Rock. He had to fight for it through 6 grueling, nerve-wracking auditions, 4 in New York and 2 in Los Angeles, proving his worth time and again to producers who were looking for something specific. After the final reading, he was sent home on a flight that felt like a final, crushing goodbye. In Hollywood, when they book your flight home, it usually means the dream is over. Tyler sat on that plane, his mother by his side, feeling the weight of perceived failure, until a last-minute phone call changed his destiny while he was still on the tarmac. He had to fly back across the country immediately to become the face of a cultural phenomenon that tackled race, class, and family with a sharp, historic wit. From age 12 to 16, Tyler lived a double life. While his peers were attending high school dances and football games, Tyler's high school was a television set, and his teachers were icons like Chris Rock. Rock once gave him a piece of advice that would become Tyler's North Star: stay true to who you are, no matter how much fame tries to distort you. It is a mission he successfully navigated as he transitioned into adulthood, refusing to participate in the typical Hollywood party scene that has claimed so many young lives. However, the pressure of the industry never truly leaves you. As he reached his early 20s, the public pressure to stop being the skinny kid and start being a muscular leading man led him to a dangerous path. He began pushing his body to the absolute breaking point, consuming 1,600-calorie shakes and engaging in brutal heavy lifting, trying to force his frame to become something it wasn't naturally designed to be. In 2017, his body finally screamed, "No." At just 24 years old, Tyler was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, a chronic and painful autoimmune condition that affects the digestive system. It was a medical crisis that nearly claimed his life, leading to emergency surgery where a portion of his intestines had to be removed. This was the moment the strong kid had to become a vulnerable man. He had to stop demanding change from his body and start requesting it through a partnership of diet, rest, and 6 small, nutrient-dense meals a day. He kept this struggle private for a long time, dealing with the physical and emotional toll of a chronic illness while still trying to maintain a career in an industry that demands perfection. This internal battle with pain and health only sharpened his acting craft. He moved from the light-hearted comedy of his youth to the visceral, traumatic survival seen in his role on The Walking Dead. Many of you might remember his character, Noah, and the horrifying, heart-wrenching death he suffered, a scene so brutal it is still discussed by fans today.
So how long have you been working with the computer, Tyler?
That role proved to the world that Tyler could handle the darkness. He followed this with the sophisticated historical weight of playing a complex FBI agent in United States versus Billie Holiday, showing that he could hold his own against Academy Award-level talent.
He said that he
But
gets
perhaps his
$5 a
most
week.
important
Sounds
role
like Greg's
today
doing better than
is his
me.
current one
Ask
on
him for
Abbott
an allowance.
Elementary. As
You wanna
Gregory
buy a
Eddie,
leather coat,
a substitute
you
teacher
need to get a
turned
leather
full-time
coat job.
educator, Tyler has brought his life's journey full circle. He is no longer the student. He is the teacher. This role allows him to represent a figure rarely seen in a positive light on television: the dedicated, disciplined, and deeply caring black male educator in an underfunded school system. The show is a hit not just because it's funny, but because it feels real. It mirrors the struggles of the teachers in our own neighborhoods, the ones who work tirelessly for our grandchildren. For Tyler, working with the child actors on the Abbott set is a way to pay it forward. He watches them ask the same questions he once asked 20 years ago on Sesame Street, and he makes it his mission to ensure they feel protected, seen, and valued. As of 2026, Tyler James Williams stands as a beacon for all of us, but especially for the older generation who appreciates the values of hard work and integrity. He manages his Crohn's disease every single day with a quiet grace that is nothing short of heroic. He doesn't complain, he simply adapts. He has earned his 3 Emmy nominations and his Golden Globe win not just through raw talent, but through the character he built in the shadows when the cameras weren't rolling. Whether he is looking back at the iconic moment he hugged Beyoncé as a starstruck 14-year-old or navigating the complexities of a modern television set, he reminds us that the costume of our lives, our jobs, our titles, our fame, doesn't matter nearly as much as the person inside. His story is a testament to the fact that our greatest trials, whether they are health crises, career setbacks, or the pressure to conform, are simply the fires that forge a stronger spirit. Tyler James Williams is a man who refused to break, a man who took the advice of a mentor and stayed true to himself, and a man who continues to teach us that no matter how many times the world tries to send you home, you keep getting back on the plane. As we look at him today, we don't just see a child star. We see a blueprint for a life well lived, a life of resilience, a life of purpose, and a life that reminds us all that the best is yet to come, provided we have the courage to remain exactly who we were meant to be.